All right. Hey, everybody. This is Doug Miner coming to you with Meet My Mentors podcast. Today, I have a really special guest coming in today. His name is Scott Coady. We've known each other for many, many years. And the reason I'm having him come in today is I've learned so much from him over the years. And I want to tell you a little bit about him, but we'll get into a lot more of it as we get into it. But Scott spent some of his time working with NASA and some of their incredible people there, training them on leadership. He started a company called Sage Alliance Partners, where he works with different corporations all over the world. He's started up and was a founder of the Association of Transformational Leaders. Heck, I'm going to just stop. I could go on for days about Scott, but I just want to introduce you all. Here's Scott Coady. We're so
Hello.
happy to have you.
Nice to be here, Doug. Thank you so much.
All right. So today we're going to talk a little bit about your leadership and the way you go about it. And I guess that really the first question we have for you, or the first question I have for you that I want you to tell everybody about is, in your view, what do you see as leadership? What does that encompass in your mind?
Well, it's kind of an open question. There's, if you go to Google and you look for books on leadership, there's over 1,000. So everybody has a different interpretation about it. For me, what I've come to rest on that have found to be effective in my work is to first distinguish leadership from management. So we have those two things in business in particular. And so management is about optimizing and controlling action in the present tense or the near present time frame. And that's valuable and necessary and good. But leadership is about the future. And that's, people go, okay, yeah, that's good. At NASA, I coined the phrase, leaders are in the future business. And okay, that makes sense. But there's no facts about the future. It's a little bit of an area of, the unknown. And leaders are people who have a vision about the future, a commitment about the future, a passion for something to happen, to create something from nothing.
Yeah.
And they commit themselves to that. And then therefore they're on a journey into the unknown. And that wakes you up. That requires all of you and requires you to maybe learn and grow along the way.
It sounds to me, Scott, like this person has to be very courageous and confident, right? And also be able to communicate that in such a way that it filters into the whole group.
And that's a challenge because
right.
First you can be courageous and confident and have your vision and want to create this thing in the future. But enrolling other people to join you is a big trick. So
that's the key, right?
Yeah. And so most traditional, normal sort of approach to that is have a great business plan and a good pitch. And it's about the research, it's about the data, it's about the market study. It's, and it's like, try to sell people on the plan.
Right.
Or how
formulate the best plan possible.
Right. Or create a sexy vision, like.
Got to have the hook, got to get them in.
Yeah.
Right.
But what happens is smart people who might be wanting to join or who are being asked to join, deep in their body, know it's a journey into the unknown.
And we can feel, when you just said that, Scott, I could feel it right inside. I had to take a deep breath there for a second.
Yeah. And then their deepest concern that they might not even be able to articulate is, are you, Mr. or Mrs. Leader, who's committed to this thing and enrolling me here, going to take care of me on this journey when what hits the fan?
Yep.
Because we all know that there's no perfect plan. We all know that unexpected things happen. And
true.
We also know that committing ourselves to something in the future, which isn't guaranteed, and we're inventing and creating from nothing, is a recipe for stress.
And a lot of that is how to manage that, right? As the leader, you need to manage that on a level that I'm sure you can articulate better than me.
Right. So the kind of communication that I'm most interested in and I support my clients with is mastering the nonverbal communication that everyone's body's reading from each other to have them relax and want to join. Everyone's
Ah,
competent at giving them a great intellectual, logical argument for why join up. But
yep.
do they feel as if this person is the right person to lead them on this journey into the unknown? And the nonverbal is the key. So we humans are
Yep.
social hierarchical mammals like dogs, horses, elephants, and dolphins. Safety in groups, nonverbal communication, there's always a battle for leadership. So there's part of our animalistic background that we've kind of forgotten about because we have a very great intellectual mind and we have all this great communication that's still there whenever we're in a situation that's risky for our future. All of our spidey senses are on high alert.
Yeah.
And so what happens is you have a person who's, they're good and a good plan, good vision, excited, they got passion, let's go, kind of get involved, good offer. But they get stressed and then fight, flight, or freeze. They act out, they freeze up, they yell, they kick, they scream, they pound their fist on the desk. Under stress, they act differently. And then we go, I don't know if it's safe for me to join this on this journey.
Got it.
What we need to be able to do, all of us leaders and team members, is to be great under pressure, great as we're going through the unknown, and not let the situation that we signed up for produce the stress that's going to take us out of our own game. Or as I like to say, die from self-inflicted stress wounds.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Scott, like I'm hearing a couple things, and knowing you as well as I do, you're leaning into this somatic, getting in touch with your body and your feelings, and being able for that to come out and communicate it with this group, right? I did this other project in a course that I'm taking, and it was about storytelling. And so I know with you, Scott, you're one of the greatest storytellers ever. You have some of the most fascinating stories ever. Is there a story that would fit into what we're talking about today
Yeah,
that might resonate with everybody?
sure. Um, well, first of all, story and storytelling is a very important skill for leadership in particular, because since we're dealing with the future and there's no facts about the future and it hasn't happened yet, all we have is a story about it.
Right.
Now, is our story compelling? Is our story grounded? It could be a great story, but who's telling the story? And do you resonate with the storyteller?
Right.
So this one example I have for you is about some work I did with Cargill. And there was a division of Cargill that had been operating successfully for many years, producing a 10% a year increase in net profit. And they measured EBITDA, earnings before taxes, depreciation, and interest, something like this.
And
So
real quick, just so everyone knows, Cargill is a
food
aren't they?
conglomerate, largest, one of the world's largest food conglomerates out of Minneapolis,
Okay.
global company. And so 1,000 employees in this division, doing about $1 billion, in turnover, and 10% increase each year in net profit. And it was always a stress case to achieve that. Their bonuses were tied to achieving that. And there was a lot of dysfunction on the senior management team, and the CEO would bring the top level and the second level of leaders together, kind of extended leadership team, about 20 people to run this business. And meetings were dysfunctional, ineffective, so just, not good.
Can you dive a little bit into the dysfunction? Like what were you seeing that was dysfunctional? So we just
People,
have a better, clear
yeah,
idea.
individuals trying to be right at the expense of cohesion, uh,
Okay.
yelling at each other or trying to force your opinion as if it's the truth onto people, inability to align people trying to, have control or power by not aligning with their teammates, no wisdom of the team present, and hardly any individual relationship between the members. And it's very typical at senior leadership levels. A lot of people who are super smart and get to that level got there because of their individual performance. And they're all in private competition with each other for the next promotion. And so it's hard to actually make a real team and create a real winning culture because you have a lot of individuals who are individually oriented in a covert competition with each other. So working with them over 10-month period. So we started with them 2 months into their fiscal year.
Okay.
On a monthly basis, 2 days a month. It was intense work on who they're being individually, how they're showing up for their teammates, what's happening with the team, and then how are they all leading collectively out into the larger business to produce a result, and why they wanted this result. It can't be just about the money. It has to be about something bigger, a better purpose. So we helped with all that, and I don't, we can go into those details, but what the result was is they had a 72% increase in net profit after the 10 months.
Amazing.
And everyone had a great time doing it, and there wasn't a lot of stress. And for them, it was their greatest achievement in their professional careers, not because of the money they made, but because of the cohesion and what they learned about being a team and doing it together.
It's that culture of happiness sort of jumps in my head, right?
Yeah,
where
that's part of it.
You're hitting on it, where people are it's more important to sort of feel a part of something and to achieve something, and the self-satisfaction in the group, and to share it with all these other people as opposed to the money, right? It's just that's a great story. I love it. It totally resonates with sort of the things that I've been doing, even in my communications course at school. So
Beautiful.
Man, I really appreciate the stories. Is there anything else you think, as far as what would be the most important thing for a leader to do in their communication? Is there like a takeaway that
Yes.
everyone could hang on to?
It's all about authenticity. You've got to be authentic. When you get up in front of the people, whether it's on a microphone or a speech or on video or even with an email, got to be authentic.
Yeah.
When you try to message people and try to be slick and try to be professional, and people can tell when you're BSing them and you're not being straight.
Right.
And it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of courage.
Courage. Yeah, it's right. You're right. Like just from the very beginning, right? It's about your courage and that confidence and being able to but I like your word better. I like the authenticity. Be yourself, and you want to project the best part of yourself that you can in those moments, right?
Yeah. And then the key question for everybody is my authentic self enough for the challenge that's in front of us? Or do I need to expand and grow? The best. Yeah.
I love that, Scott. Like, I think that last part of what you just said, and we're going to have to wrap up pretty soon. It's that looking inward and looking at yourself and asking yourself that question, right? And especially, do I need to improve? I love that, because you know me, you know me well enough. I love to improve. I love to internally reflect and figure out what's the best way to move forward. And so, I mean, from all of this today, all these are so many little takeaways. So I'm hoping that everybody maybe rewatches this and takes out the piece that works best, or maybe even better. Scott, before we wrap this up, I want to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to know how to get in touch with you. Sure. I'll go ahead and give it to everybody afterwards, and I'll post it. But if you want to tell them about it.
Well, you can either call or text me on my mobile phone at 415-860-6990 and just say you're a friend of Doug's. Or you can email me at scott@sageap.com.
Excellent. I'll make sure to get that out to everybody. Sure. And I want to just thank you again for taking this time with us and sharing some of your wisdom. Right.
My pleasure.
love it all the time. I know I get it for free all the time, but it's great that we get to share it, or I
Yeah,
get to share you with everybody out there.
excellent. Thank you,
All right,
Doug.
man. So
Appreciate it.
until next time on Meet Your Mentors, I'll see you at the next show. Thanks so much, everybody.